So hey guys, welcome back to another episode on your property upgrading journey. Today, what we really want to talk about and what we want to deep dive into, if you're planning to upgrade from maybe your HDB or from your condo to a landed, would it make sense for you to still buy a 99 years leasehold landed property, or should you only go for a freehold landed property? I think a lot of times on the ground, maybe what we hear is that 99 years leasehold landed, cannot buy one. It doesn't make money because of the balance lease. Also, there's always that worry that the moment the lease is up, then what happens to the lease as well, and that the prices just don't appreciate for 99 years landed. Freehold is always a better buy, especially in the landed segment. So today we really just want to answer these questions. So first of all, we have to also understand why landed homes are a rarity and why they are a great store of value. So in that sense, it allows for the protection of your capital as well as possibility of great price appreciation. So fundamentally, it really boils down back to your supply and your demand. In terms of Singapore's supply, the landed supply has been very stagnant the past 10 over years already. So meaning to say that the government has not been introducing any new land sales, particularly for the landed segment itself. So whatever landed stock there is, whatever landed supply there is in the market, it really just comes down from the existing supply itself. So there's not going to be any new launch for landed homes. Naturally so, also because Singapore's already land scarce. Anything that's going to come out usually is meant for like HDB or your condominiums, where you can cater for more family needs as well. If we just take a look at this chart, in the entire Singapore supply itself, there are only about 74,000 in terms of the entire landed supply. So that makes it just about 4 to 5% of the entire housing supply in Singapore. So when we understand demand and supply, once you have something that is so little in supply and there's enough demand or even more demand than your supply, then that's where the potential comes in for your price to appreciate. So if we take a look at what is the demand here and where the demand is coming from, technically only Singaporeans can buy as of this point. Let's say you're PR plus a Singaporean. It's also possible with LDAU approval, but if not, naturally so, only Singaporeans are entitled to buy into the landed segment. If we take a look at our population growth, it's also expected that by 2030, probably we have about 3.6 to 3.8 million Singaporeans in Singapore. So that's going to take up about 50% of the population, with the other 50% being our foreigners as well. Let's say we just take like 5% out of this 3.8 million population, right? So that's going to give us with 190,000 in terms of the number of people that maybe wants to buy into the landed segment. But we only have 73,000 in terms of supply. In that sense, there's always this greater demand, especially with a growing population, because naturally so, as people want to upgrade in their property portfolio, let's say from a condo or from HDB, the next aspiration is always going to be the landed segment. Right now, the landed segment is still one of the most prime, one of the best dreams people would like to achieve in their property portfolio. So taking a look at this entire big picture, what this also shows is that the supply is so limited, but the demand is ever growing with a stronger demand over the supply. We always say that once you invest yourself in a restricted supply set of property, and then that's where you're going to see that potential in terms of growth, both in price appreciation and both in terms of your stability, making landed homes one of the greatest store of value across all the different kind of properties in Singapore. In the landed segment itself, there are many different kind of landed homes, meaning to say you have like your inter-terrace, your corner terrace, your semi-D, your detached, your bungalows, your strata landed. In terms of that, there are also many variations just within the landed segment itself. And in PropertyLimBrothers, we also have a categorization for the types and the state of condition of landed homes. So we have also categorized them from category 1 all the way until category 4, mainly to show the different kind of state. For Cat 1, usually these are homes that are meant for rebuild. Perhaps they're already more than 30 years old. The structure is pretty much original from day one. Maybe right now they're just a single story. So this is what usually we term as prime for rebuild. We move on to Cat 2. So Cat 2 are maybe your in-between sort of homes. They are not too old, not too young, but structurally maybe they're still very sound. Perhaps you can just do like a gut reno inside if the layout is okay for you, but there's still that potential to do A&A to add on another level or to increase your entire GFA. So this will be like your category 2 homes. Usually they sit about 20 to 30 years old. Category 3, so these homes have already been rebuilt maybe about 15 years back. In terms of renovation, it's probably still pretty good, but maybe you just need, but perhaps you still need to do some level of renovations to turn it into your own style and for you to live in as well. So this is what we term as Cat 3 homes. For Cat 4 homes, these are your brand new homes. So brand new from developers, brand new state, everything you're going to get is brand new. Usually as a brand new, there will be a premium attached to it as well. Across these 4 different categories, there's also different kind of time needed in terms of turning the home into something that's probably livable for your family as well. So there are time factors involved, there is costing involved, because in terms of A&A, renovations, rebuilding, all these costings can vary very much. And for landed homes, the sizes can also vary a lot. The land itself can vary a lot. There are many many different factors to understand and to really consider before you buy your landed home as well. Just to take a look at this graph. So this graph is going to show us the entire history of performance of the landed segment. So whether it's freehold, whether it's 99 years, 60 years, 70 years, all sort of lease, all sort of tenure. Generally what we can see, from 1996 all the way up to today in 2024, the entire landed segment have already moved up to a new high. And I think pretty much what is evident in Singapore's market is that ever since after 2013, so after 2013 was the introduction of TDSR, MSR, so on and so forth. So that's really when the entire property market starts to consolidate as well. More importantly, let's take a look at the figures after 2013 because we really want to see the performance once the Singapore property has stabilized after 2013 because before that there was no introduction of TDSR, additional buyer's stamp duties, rates were very different as well. After 2013 would be a good gauge to sort of see the performance as well. So you refer to this chart over here, ever since 2014, sort of enjoys a stable growth, and of course in 2021, that's where, sort of the COVID period, the property prices were off the shelf. We see a very, very big spike in terms of increment. And ever since then, it has not really dipped down, and we can see that it continues to enjoy that great store of value in terms of price appreciation. It may not be as drastic as last time, however, it has stabilized and is still continuing to see a gradual growth. If we were to break down basically in this entire Singapore market as well, this chart is going to show you the performance for a freehold or 999 years landed homes as well. So we can categorize this two under the freehold category since 999 years. Although it's not the same as freehold, but it's very close pretty much to a freehold because it can last you many different generations as well. Overall, it still performs well. So since 2014 up to date, there's still nice increment in terms of the overall performance. However, because right now 2024, you can see there's a little bit of a dip. Just to disclaim as well, this data might not be true to, this doesn't mean that the landed segment is actually crashing or that the prices are dropping, because in order for these transactions to happen and in order for this data to be formed, sometimes this might not be the best representation also because, we just started in 2024. Right now, we are just early on in March. So these are probably homeowners that have sold maybe early on in Jan or Feb. And if let's say the transactions are pretty low in nature, meaning say that, and just so happen maybe these 20 transactions, right, most of them maybe belongs to the category 1 kind of homes, then naturally their PSF and their price performance will be lower than a category 4 home. But it does not mean to say that the landed home prices have dropped. It might just be that this time period, that this basket of homes that we are looking at, because of the state of the condition, the price quantum might be on the lower end, therefore showing this little dip in the landed segment. But if not, overall, in my personal opinion, I do not foresee that there will be a crash in terms of the landed housing segment as well. So if we move on and we take a look at the 99 years landed performance, so if we just take a look at what has happened after 2014 as well, you can see that it's very similar towards the freehold performance where, let's say the market, 99 years also move up in terms of price performance. Market is taking a dip as well. Then the 99 years landed also follows suit. I think what's more interesting between the 99 years and freehold properties, if we were to put the two together, so this is how it's going to look like in terms of the chart. Personally, I would say that the 99 years landed might be a little bit more erratic in terms of the price performance. So it's not as consistent, not as stable versus the freehold landed price performance. If we just take a look at this graph, so the freehold is the one that's on top, the orange line, so it's a little bit more gradual, not so steep. Whereas if you come down to the 99 years landed, you see that the movements are a little bit more steep. It can come down pretty fast and can go back up pretty fast as well. If not basing off the entire performance as an entire landed market segment itself, you can see that whether it's a freehold or whether it's a 99 years, they naturally move pretty much in tandem to each other. But of course, there will be a price disparity because naturally freehold properties are more sought after and usually they command a higher price premium as well. So to quickly show you guys also where are some of the landed zonings in Singapore as well. Mostly are concentrated, I would say, between D19, D15, D10, D11. So this is mostly where you can find your landed homes as well. There are some smaller segments, for example, like in Sembawang, in Choa Chu Kang. Jurong West also has really small plots. So these are also very interesting landed segments that we have in Singapore. So now that we understand the bigger picture in terms of the entire landed performance in Singapore, we also want to sort of deep dive into different segments, whether different areas have different kind of price performance between the 99 years landed or whether it's a freehold property. Just for comparison's sake, we're just going to take 3 different estates to have a quick look because not all landed estates come with like 99 years landed also. In terms of supply, 99 years landed will be lesser than freehold properties. Naturally, we still do enjoy more freehold landed properties in Singapore rather than 99 years. The first area, let's take a look at D19, one of our favorite estates, the Serangoon Gardens landed enclave. So to give everyone very quick context, predominantly in Serangoon Gardens itself, most of your landed homes here are actually 999 years leasehold. So just a handful of them will be the freehold status. And there's also a small plot that's actually 99 years landed. They're mostly located here along the house at Serangoon area. So that's also where you can find some 99 years landed in the Serangoon Gardens estate. CHIT as well. First of all, let's take a look at the 999 years Serangoon Gardens estate landed performance. Right, so just to share also before we deep dive into these numbers, all these are really just basing off different time periods and basing off similar sort of land size and how has the prices changed, for example, in 2017 to versus today in 2023 or 2024. But for landed homes itself, what we must understand is that every landed home is so unique. This kind of price comparison might not be apple to apple per se, but it's one of the closest that we can do so as well. Because for landed homes, it's so unique, right? Every house is different, the state of condition might be different. We might enjoy the same land size as our neighbor. However, maybe I've already pumped in like 1 million in terms of rebuilding, so maybe I already have something that's much higher in terms of your build-up area versus your neighbor. However, usually for transactions, what we are really just looking at is the land size and the land PSF. So it might not truly depict also the buyer's appetite, because sometimes buyers are willing to pay a higher quantum for maybe something that has smaller land size but has already been fully built up, so then they do not need to go and pump in that extra money in terms of rebuilding or that time needed as well, and they're willing to pay a higher premium for something that still has a smaller land size but a bigger built up. So in terms of landed transactions, it can be a little bit more erratic because it really also boils down to what kind of home are you buying in, the state of condition, the possibility, what are like the potential of that particular land, maybe there's value in terms of appreciation because it still has more room to grow in terms of the GFA as well. And sometimes, along this entire same road, along the entire Burgley Drive, for example, sometimes maybe certain area within Burgley Drive is a bit more premium than the rest due to the road noise, maybe sometimes due to the bus stop. These are really like little differences that can also affect the pricing performance for a landed segment. So it's very different, unlike, HDB or condo, where sometimes we just take a look at one project. Coming back to Serangoon Gardens 999 years performance, for example, in 2017, right, this is along Bridport Avenue for a terrace home, land size about 2001, averagely done at 2.2 M. And if you were to come to 2024, so you can see this is also at Bridport Avenue, similar land size, about 2001 land size. Right now it has already grown and seen a positive movements. It's already doing about 3.6 M. So we can see that in this case, the freehold landed properties are enjoying that great appreciation. So if we just take a look, another one, Farleigh Avenue, semi-D, land size about 4,000 odd square feet, done about 3.3 back in 2017. In today's context, 2023, 2024. So there's no semi done in Farleigh, but I'll just take something that is similar in terms of land size, about 4,000 odd land size around the Medway Drive area, then it's already done about 6 over M. But just to bring your attention also, so you can see that this semi-D 4,000 over square feet done about 6 over M compared to someone that has slightly bigger land size, semi-D 4007 here along the Walmer Drive, however has done slightly lower, 5.6 M. So this comes back to show again, sometimes it's really just not about the land size. There's a lot of different characteristics for a landed home as well. It might have been due to the facing, the build-up, the renovations, and particularly the state of condition. Sometimes there's a lift in this home, there's no lift in that home, there's a pool here, there's no pool there. There are many different possibilities and explanations as to why a home can perform so differently from another home even though it's in the same area. But if not, we'll just take a look as an overview. The Serangoon Gardens 999 years landed has performed pretty well. It has definitely enjoyed that price appreciation. Whenever I want. Okay. Audio no issues. Okay, let's start.